Alright guys, Supreme Kami here. So we are coming to an end. So episode 23 of Wish from Mercury. So we are just literally one episode away from the whole thing being wrapped up. I don't know how they are gonna close things up with just one episode. I feel like it may be a rush because we are coming up to a very big climax in this episode again. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they kind of closing up. Just give us like a good closure, so we definitely see what's going on. As far as my intake for the overall episode, I feel like this episode, the theme, I would just call it family, right? I think in terms of the overall prominent things that we've seen, uh, Grill fighting against Lauda, Suletta fighting against Eri, and then obviously we have the mother versus the herb house, right? So it's kind of like a family type thing over here. So as far as what I'm gonna talk about, I'm not gonna talk about like the overall nitty gritty of like the specifics. We will kind of focus on the brotherly fight, the sister fights, and then we have the breaking into Quad Zero, right? As far as really went down between the fight versus Guel and Lauda, it's pretty much like a the younger brother Lauda, right? He's just not in the right mind after piloting Gundam. He's just kind of blaming everything that has been happening, especially now that he lost his father, knowing the truth. And then his girlfriend still bedridden. At this point in time, we don't even know if she's surviving. What happened during during that school incident. So we have that. I think he's just really frustrated. I think he just want to blame it on somebody, and I feel like he's blaming it on the wrong person. I don't know what in the right mind he thinks that Yone has to do with everything that's been happening. I feel like he should be redirecting that to Shadiq. I don't know what's going on. So they're fighting. There's just pretty much that. I think Lala is more thinking that Grill in perspective thinks that he's not competent enough to handle any of the situation, right? But in Grill's defense, he just want to protect his little brother. He doesn't. He want to shelter him pretty much. He doesn't want him to get hurt. Doesn't really want to get him upset and whatnot. That's why he's not really telling him things that happened between his father, feeling that he may not be able to take on that information, and obviously he does not want him to be um, just dragged down by this overall incident. As far as how the overall fight wraps up, we have a very iconic, melee weapon charging in each other, and at the last split second, Grill out of here was like, let me just kind of stop all this. Like, I'm just gonna take my. Is it like a lance that he was using? I think he retracts that, and then we have the Zawase stabbing literally into the cockpit of Grill's unit. So as we all thought he's gonna die, right? Surely it would explode, but Felsi, I think that's her name, she literally came through clutch with a spraying gel gun, whatever you call it, sprays the heck out of that on Grill's unit, and it's wild. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, no way. So I'm just kind of like, why didn't nobody use that towards towards the beginning when people started dying? So I don't know, man, but that was cool. I'm just glad that he survived, because like at the split second, I was like, damn, are we really gonna lose Grill at this final moment, literally towards the finish line? But no, we still haven't. So that pretty much sums up what happened in terms of Grill versus Lauda. And alright, so now Suletta and Eri. So pretty much another same situation. This time around, it's more like the little sister is trying to stop the big sister and the mother. As far as how things go on, I think they're just kind of battling. I don't think there is like a sense of stopping anytime soon. But we come to a conclusion that the data storm started to lose its capacity, or you can say its density. So as far as Eri, she wasn't really able to control much via the data storm. So I think at this point in time, the Earth team is the Earth's house. They are breaking through. They are able to break through with Quad Zero and whatnot. So that pretty much wraps up the fight. I don't think there is not really a whole lot of action. I think throughout it's just more like Suletta telling her that you gotta stop all this stuff. What mom's doing is not right. She doesn't want her mom to turn into some sort of monster. So that's pretty much it. And being a big sister, obviously Eri does deeply cares about Suletta. I think that they're not really showing it in a way, but she at the very last minute, being an older sister, did protect Suletta, which we will talk about in just a little bit of how she protects her. Alright, so now let's talk about the crew. The Herbs fellows over here, they are finally able to break into Quiet Zero with, I think it's, they broke in, and then there is Armed Haro just kind of flying through. We have Kananji just kind of leading through it. He wasn't really doing much in this whole operation. It was pretty much we have a split team because they wanted to distract the Haro. So we have Belmeri, we have Mione, and then we have Ellen. They kind of broke up to see if they can infiltrate Quiet Zero to kind of take it back. And then Prospera came through, kind of like telling them, you gotta stop all this stuff because I'm gonna fire at you guys. So that's pretty much what went down. But remember a few like early on in season 2, we kind of found out that Mione's mother was kind of part of the Quiet Zero plan, right? The overall incident. Well, obviously we don't. I think she pretty much dies, and she is in the system itself now. As Mione was trying to figure out a way to kind of break through the system, she noticed. I think it was her mother's last name that was on the control panel. And pretty much the password was like, I think it was something that was decoded in the tomatoes genetics. So that was like, damn. So her mother was in here the whole time already. That's crazy. Like I don't know. Like so in some sort of way, like they are always connected between Soletta's like Prospera and Mione's mother. Like were they always connected in some way? So that was just kind of like okay. As far as password is pretty much what was decoded, and then Mione punched that password in, and then we were in. So at this point in time, Quiet Zero is completely gone. As far as all the rights has been revoked. So pretty much right now, Prospera is not really able to do much. As far as the other nitty-gritty right now, we do have the Space Assembly League. They are ready to use something that is very infamous throughout the Gundam series. We have the good old quality laser, right? They pretty much want to take down the whole Quiet Zero along with Lagrange 4, I believe, just the whole Benedict group. As far as the head, like the upper chain of command, they're like, I'm pretty sure the Pell group and then the Lagrange 1, sovereign government, they will be able to happily offer their hands to rebuild it. So I'm just kind of like, damn. So the final boss is actually, so not to think about it. So the final boss shouldn't really be Prospera. I think what she's doing was wrong in terms of protecting or trying to bring peace to ending our wars. I think she's just using it as a wrong method, similarly of how Shadig is doing it. So I think after the whole incident, I think Quiet Zero will be reactivated in a way that's gonna righteously serve as a deterrent to stop all wars if possible. I think that's what it's gonna come out to. But before that, the laser colony freaking strikes Quiet Zero, and guess who came to protect everyone? We have Arios and Eri. They activate their pretty much the similar things to how it ends up in the Unicorn series, where Banaji with his unicorn created Psycho Field. So pretty much the same thing. And towards the very end, we did see that the area was pretty much crippled. Pretty much lost everything except for 5 of the Gambits. So that was 5 Gambits that I think in the next episode where Suletta will use with her Gundam, with her Gundam Calibarn, Calibarn and whatnot. So I think that is what's gonna happen. But man, to think that they will use a colony legacy like that is beyond absurd. But other than that, I think that is pretty much it. So this overall episode was definitely quite impactful itself. We just have a lot of things that really went underway. As far as like just breaking the anomaly between the brothers and stuff. I think brothers and sisters, I think it went pretty well. It's just the fact that now we know a little bit more as far as like the connection between Choir Zero and Mione's mother, so that was quite interesting as well. So next week it's gonna be the last episode. So man, it's been a ride, man. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from the last episode. It can definitely go any direction it can. It wants, right, so we definitely like to see, but definitely very excited for the last episode and see what direction they'll go with. And I don't know, I feel like they could definitely continue onward, maybe with like a movie to follow up if anything that was not explained, or even decides to like the manga and whatnot. But other than that, I think that is a pretty much it for me, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one.